Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtapraishu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, 17th chapter, Punishment and Reward of Kali. Text number 38 onwards. Sutuvacha abhyarthistastada tasme sthanani kalye dado dyutam panam striya suna yatra dharma chaturvidha. Sud Goswami said, Maharaj Parikshit, thus being petitioned by the personality of Kali, gave him permission to reside in places where gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter were performed. The basic principles of irreligiosity, such as pride, prostitution, intoxication, and falsehood, counteract the four principles of religion, namely austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness. The personality of Kali was given permission to live in four places particularly mentioned by the king, namely the place of gambling, place of prostitution, place of drinking, and place of animal slaughter. Srila Jiva Goswami directs that drinking against the principles of scriptures such as Sautramani Yagya associated with women outside marriage and killing animals against the injunctions of scriptures are irreligious. In the Vedas, two different types of injunctions are there. One type for the pravritas or those who are engaged in material enjoyment, and another for the nivritas or those who are liberated from material bondage. Oh, I guess we had covered this words. Okay, Prabhupada then talks about two compulsory fasting days in the purport and compulsory marriage of the boys and girls when they're young, charity. Okay, sorry. So we go further. Text 39. Punashchayachamanaya jatarupam madat prabhu tato anritam madam kamam rajo vairam cha panchamam. The personality of Kali asked for something more, and because of his begging, the king gave him permission to live where there is gold. Because wherever there is gold, there is also falsity, intoxication, lust, envy, and enmity. So, good luck to all the ladies. They are very fond of gold. But let's go over the purport of Prabhupada. And I also found one beautiful conversation of Prabhupada because I didn't understand the purport properly here. So I had to do some more research and I found one conversation of Prabhupada with his disciples. So there Prabhupada explained what exactly he meant in this purport. So I'll post it on our group. Purport. Although Maharaj Parikshit gave Kali permission to live in four places, it was very difficult for him to find the places because during the reign of Maharaj Parikshit, there were no such places. And there were no such places where liquor was being served, meat was being eaten, or illicit connection or gambling was going on. Therefore, Kali asked the king to give him something practical which could be utilized for his nefarious purposes. Maharaj Parikshit thus gave him permission to live in a place where there is gold, because wherever there is gold, there are all the above mentioned four things. And over and above them, there is enmity also. So the personality of Kali became gold standardized. According to Srimad Bhagavatam, gold encourages falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, and enmity. Even a gold standard exchange and currency is bad. Gold standard currency is based on falsehood because the currency is not on par with the reserved gold. The basic principle is falsity because currency notes are issued in value beyond that of the actual reserved gold. This artificial inflation of currency by the authorities encourages prostitution of the state economy. The price of commodities becomes artificially inflated because of bad money or artificial currency notes. Bad money drives away good money. Instead of paper currency, actual gold coins should be used for exchange, and this will stop prostitution of gold. Gold ornaments for women may be allowed by control, not by quality, but by quantity. This will discourage lust, envy, and enmity. When there is actual gold currency in the form of coins, the influence of gold in producing falsity, prostitution, etc., will automatically cease. There will be no need of an anti-corruption ministry for another term of prostitution and falsity of purpose. So very strong. So gold encourages bad things like falsity, envy, other forms of corruption, and Prabhupada is again and again talking about prostitution of economy. So, in his conversation, the other conversation that I'll post it on the group, Prabhupada says this gold standardized economy is really bad. Why? Actually, government is supposed to print money equivalent to the gold reserve they have. That's why if you look at the notes, it's called Reserve Bank of India, means they should have that much gold in reserve. So in return of that, they're printing. They should be, but they don't. Now what is happening is they are printing much more money than actual reserve. So this paper that we receive, it's worth nothing. It's good for nothing. Because it's not the paper that we can go and tell the government, I don't want this paper, give me gold in return of this, in exchange. Government cannot do that. They don't have. So what they do, they print extra papers, extra money, because the printing is in their hand. They can print whatever they want. So this leads to corruption. And Prabhupada saying this leads to falsity, intoxication, prostitution, envy, enmity, corruption, all sorts of bad vices starts from there. Why? Because government can print. Suppose Prabhupada gave the example of his spectacle or his specs, glasses that he was wearing. So he said, if I want to sell these glasses, so if you have 10 gold coins in your pocket, you cannot pay 15 gold coins. But in terms of printing money, government can print anything and they can artificially inflate the price of the commodity. They can artificially do that. And this leads to all sorts of corruption, and then it leads to all the other four bad habits. So his point was, if it is actually still like in Vedic times, we had the barter system, so there was no artificial inflation, and we had the real gold coins. Nobody could produce more gold coins because whatever gold was there, it was there. That's it. So things cannot artificially inflate, and that leads to like simple life instead of leading to all these bad habits. I still am not sure if I understood what Prabhupada is trying to say, but hopefully one of these days I'll get the realization of this actual economy that Prabhupada is talking about, and how it is the pure economy. And then the disciples of Prabhupada who were talking with him, they said, now Prabhupada, we don't even use paper money. We use all plastic money. And it is more bad. And Prabhupada said, yes, In fact, right now, I mean, at least in India, we still have paper money, but in America, hardly anybody has any paper money in their pocket. It's all plastic money. And now they're getting away from using even plastic money. It's all going to be in the fingertips or in your whatever way they can recognize, they can scan something. So you don't even have to carry plastic anymore. And whatever money we have, salary we get, it's basically just numbers in the bank account on computer. That's it. We hardly get anything in the hand anymore. So government can artificially inflate, artificially put any interest, whatever they want to, and anytime this whole system can crash. So basically, this leads to lots and lots of corruption. And if somehow, if I can understand it properly, the economy system, if we can go back to barter system and the gold coin system, then the whole world economy that as we know of, and that is leading to corruption, it will collapse like anything. And we will get back to very simple life. Simple life and then the simple life will take one. And if we are in mode of goodness, that is simple life, that takes one more close to bhakti. I mean, one can start the process of bhakti if he's living simple life. So it's not the gold itself that's a problem, it's a corruption that it leads to. That's a problem. And that's where the Kali resides. Text 40. Amuni panchasthanani hiya dharma prabhava kali autrena dattani nyavasattani deshkrit. Thus, the personality of Kali, by the directions of Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Uttara, was allowed to live in those 5 places. Thus, the age of Kali began with gold standardization, and therefore falsity, intoxication, animal slaughter, and prostitution are rampant all over the world. And the saner section is eager to drive out corruption. The counteracting process is suggested above, and everyone can take advantage of this suggestion that we go back to the gold coin economy and the barter system. Text 41. Athaitani na seveta bubhushu purusha kvachit visheshato dharma shilo raja lokpatir guruhu. Therefore, whoever desires progressive well-being, especially kings, religionists, public leaders, Brahmins, and sannyasis, should never come in contact with the 4 above-mentioned irreligious principles. So, whoever desires progressive well-being, they should never come in contact, means they should never break these 4 principles. The Brahmins are the religious preceptors for all other castes, and the sannyasis are the spiritual masters for all the castes and orders of society. So also are the kings and the public leaders who are responsible for the material welfare of all people. The progressive religionists and those who are responsible human beings, or those who do not want to spoil their valuable human lives, should refrain from all the principles of irreligiosity, especially illicit connection with women. If a Brahman is not truthful, all his claims as a Brahman at once becomes null and void. If a sannyasi is illicitly connected with women, all his claims as a sannyasi at once become false. Similarly, if the king and the public leader are unnecessarily proud or habituated to drinking and smoking, certainly they become disqualified to discharge public welfare activities. Truthfulness is the basic principle for all religions. The 4 leaders of the human society, namely the sannyasis, the Brahman, the king, and the public leader, must be tested crucially by their character and qualification. So very, very important that one's character, especially the character of the leaders, be be above par, or be an ideal character for them to lead properly. But above all this, above the leaders following these four principles, above all these characters is the character of bhakti. If they have that bhakti in their heart, then automatically they will follow these four principles, and they will have the real compassion in their heart by which they can lead the public. That compassion is more important. Of course, these principles are very important, they are the basis, but the compassion, the bhakti in the heart, that is what makes a real leader a leader that people can follow. Before one can be accepted as a spiritual or material master of society, he must be tested by the above mentioned criteria of character. Such public leaders may be less qualified in academic qualifications, but it's necessary primarily that they be free from the contamination of the four disqualifications, namely gambling, drinking, prostitution, and animal slaughter. But these days, it's like close to impossible to find a leader like that, especially the political leaders who don't gamble, don't drink, no prostitution, and don't support animal slaughter. It's very difficult because for them, because this is age of Kali, so these things are common in the society. These things have become a normal, a standard of the society. If a leader says, I'm not going to promote this, then people will not elect him. No way. And they'll not let him, even if he gets elected, they'll not let him stay for too long. So this is Kali. This is Kali Yuga. What can be done? Only thing possible, that, like Prabhupada said in one of the purports, uh, like if we know it's going to rain, so we must take the umbrella. So we know the symptoms of Kali Yuga, we should just take our precautions as much as possible. Text 42. Vrishasya nashta strina padan tapah shocham dayamiti prati sandadad ashvasya mahim cha samvardhaya. Thereafter, the king re-established the lost legs of the personality of religion, the bull, and by encouraging activities, he sufficiently improved the condition of the earth. By designating particular places for the personality of Kali, Maharaj Parikshit practically cheated Kali. In the presence of Kali, Dharma, in the shape of bull, and the earth in the shape of cow, he could actually estimate the general condition of his kingdom. And therefore, he at once took proper steps to re-establish the legs of the bull, namely austerity, cleanliness, and mercy, because three legs were gone. He was only hobbling on one leg, which was truthfulness. And for the general benefit of the people of the world, he saw that the gold stock might be employed for stabilization. Gold is certainly a generator of falsity, intoxication, prostitution, enmity, and violence. But under the guidance of a proper king or proper leader or a Brahman or sannyasi, the same gold can be properly utilized to re-establish the lost legs of the bull, the principles of religion. Well, if the proper leader is there, they can use the gold or the money in propagating the principles of religion. So they can re-establish the lost leg. And this is what Maharaj Parikshit did. Maharaj Parikshit, therefore, like his grandfather Arjuna, collected all illicit gold kept for the propensities of Kali and employed it in the Sankirtan Yajna as per the instructions of the Srimad Bhagavatam. As you have suggested before, one's accumulated wealth may be divided into three parts for distribution. Namely, 50% for the service of the Lord, 25% for the family members, and 25% for personal necessities. Spending 50% for the service of the Lord or for the propagation of spiritual knowledge in society by way of the Sankirtan Yajna is a maximum display of human mercy. People of the world are generally in darkness regarding spiritual knowledge, especially in regard to the devotional service of the Lord. And therefore, to propagate the systematic transcendental knowledge of devotional service is the greatest mercy that one can show in this world. So the real proper way of using one's money or using one's gold is to propagate the Sankirtan movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Basically, to preach, to give the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam to people in general, to bring them closer to God. And this is the real use of the money that we have. And this is the real mercy that one can show in this world. When everyone is taught to sacrifice 50% of his accumulated gold for the Lord's service, certainly austerity, cleanliness, and mercy automatically ensue, and thus the last three legs of personality of religion are automatically established. When there is sufficient austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, naturally, Mother Earth is completely satisfied, and there is very little chance of Kali to infiltrate the structure of human society. So this is where we are lacking right now. So obviously, one cannot just take out all the gold and all the money one has and take 50% of it and start using. But the thing is, as much as we can, we should try, at least to propagate the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Try as much as possible. Distribute books, bring people to the temple, bring people to somehow bring them on the path of bhakti, bringing them to chanting. Like now, the month of Kartik is about to start in 4 days, 24th or 25th. I don't know what day in India it is starting. So we can really take up this process. And month of Kartik is very important. So maybe on first day of Kartik, we'll have the glorification of month of Kartik lecture. But month of Kartik is so important. It's so dear to Krishna because it's a month of Srimati Radharani. And any devotional service, any extra devotional service that we do, in fact, any devotional service we do, it reaps us thousands times benefits. So this month is very important. In fact, if we can organize, because throughout the month we do this offering of lamp, Deepdan, to Yashoda Damodar. So if we can organize in your neighborhood, in your societies, in your office, maybe suppressed area, you can organize it in your office, and let everybody do this Deepdan in the office, and maybe let them know what is the importance of Deepdan. It's very simple process, but it is great benefit for everybody. So that way we are helping people, we're bringing people more and more towards God, closer to it. Text 43-44. Saeshetar hi adhyasta asanam parthivochitam pitamaheno panyastam ragyaranyam vivikshita aste adhuna sa rajarshi korvendriya shriyolasana gajave mahabhagas chakravarti vrihachrava. The most fortunate Emperor Maharaj Parikshit, who was entrusted with the kingdom of Hastinapur by Maharaj Yudhishthira, when he desired to retire to the forest, is now ruling the world with great success due to his being glorified by the deeds of the kings of the Kuru dynasty. The prolonged sacrificial ceremonies undertaken by the sages of Naimisharanya were begun shortly after the demise of Maharaj Parikshit. The sacrifice was to continue for 1,000 years, and it is understood that in the beginning, some of the contemporaries of Baldev, the elder brother of Lord Krishna, also visited the sacrificial place. According to some authorities, the present tense is also used to indicate the nearest margin of time from the past. In that sense, present tense is applied to the reign of Maharaj Parikshit here. For a continuous fact also, present tense can be used. The principles of Maharaj Parikshit can be still continued and human society can still be improved if there is determination by the authorities. So in the shloka it is said Maharaj Parikshit is still ruling, but actually after Bhagavatam was finishes and then he practically leaves the body. So there's one more verse left in this chapter. Itam abhutanu ayam abhimanyu suto nripa yasya palyata kshonim yuyam satraya dikshitaha. Maharaj Parikshit, the son of Abhimanyu, is so experienced that by dint of his expert administration and patronage, it has been possible for you to perform a sacrifice such as this. Means Sud Goswami is telling the sages of Naimisharanya that it's only because of the administration of Maharaj Parikshit he made these favorable conditions, and so that all these rishis can perform this sacrifice. Otherwise, it would not have been possible. The rishi, austerity, cleanliness, mercy, and truthfulness, the basic principles of religion, prepare the ground for the reception of advancement in spiritual knowledge. And Maharaj Parikshit made this favorable condition possible. Thus, the rishis of Naimisharanya were able to perform the sacrifices for 1,000 years. In other words, without state support, no doctrines of philosophy or religious principles can progressively advance. There should be complete cooperation between the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas for this common good. So this is what Prabhupada is writing this. Because of Maharaj Parikshit's rule, it was possible for the sacrifice or this 1,000-year sacrifice that sages could do. So there ends the 17th chapter. So anybody has any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in that tree, there are some human beings I can see in the picture behind you.
Yeah,
So
that's
what is that?
he's getting intoxicated. So Kali Yuga means the 4 places that Maharaj Parikshit gave. No? So in the tree, you can see only the person, the intoxication, and there are other vices also mentioned. Maybe I can post this picture on the group also. Any other question or comment? Okay, so we'll stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Srila Prabhupada.